Do you have a seller 8x8 marketing campaign for your real estate business? If not, stick around because we are talking all about seller 8x8 campaigns. Hi there, my name's Michael Montgomery with Rev Real Estate School. Today we are talking about sellers and specifically seller 8x8 marketing campaigns. What are these things? It comes from Gary Keller's amazing book, The Millionaire Real Estate Agent, and it's a system for you to solidify a relationship with a future seller. Now this can be used for a lead. This can be used to rekindle a relationship with somebody in your database. It can be used for a number of different things. And when I put somebody on here, it's because they've shown some sign of potentially wanting to sell real estate at some point in time in the future. There's no hard or fast rule that they need to want to sell within 6 months to a year. Not at all. If somebody said to me, hey Mike, I'm thinking about selling at some point in time in the future, boom, they will go right on a seller 8x8. Now this is different. If you've seen our video, it is in the description below for the buyer 8x8. This is different. This is the seller 8x8. There are a lot of similarities to it because I love having a system to my business. However, we do have to take into consideration that a seller doesn't want to receive a buyer's guide, and a seller also wants to know market information for the community, but very likely they want market information for their isolated community more. That's what they really, really want. So let's jump into what we do with our seller 8x8 marketing campaign. First off, let's understand that the biggest issues with most of these marketing campaigns is they are very agent focused. So you're sending them my listings, you're sending them my reviews, these sort of things. Always flip that around. It should always be about them, and you should be educating, entertaining, or informing. And in doing so, you want to be providing them with a level of value with what you are doing for them or what's happening in the market from an information standpoint. Number 2, most real estate agents will fall off the wagon after 2 to 3 weeks. Don't be that agent. Continue on. Have a system, trust the system, because it will truly pay off down the road. One of the things that does come up is I don't want to be too pushy. I don't want them to receive something every single week. Well, this is where we use the power of an out. So the power of an out we use in our emails and our messages, where basically we're providing some level of information, but we're giving them the power of an out. So in the bottom of the email, I'm signing off saying, hey, you know what? No need to respond. Just wanted to make sure you had all the information. So that no need to respond is the power of an out. You're taking all the pressure away from them to have to respond to you every week. That's not the point. You just want to be providing them some level of service every single week. Week number one. So if you had a conversation with somebody, let's say you met somebody at a party or at an event, or you're starting a relationship again with somebody in your database that you've lost touch with, what you're doing that first week is you are simply calling, texting, or even emailing, and what you're saying is very simple. Is there anything I can do for you today? After that question is asked, you follow up with, is it okay if I stay in touch? 2 questions. There's always those 2 questions. Same on the buyers as on the seller's side. What we're doing with these questions. First off, is there anything I can do for you today? We want to know if they are ready to rock and roll and they want to jump in, put their home on the market. We need to know that. We also want them to understand that we are of service to them. We're not asking them, are you ready to list? Are you ready for this? Are you ready for that? We're saying, is there anything I can do for you? Because it's not necessarily what you can do for them is put their home on the market right now. They might want to know what the home down the street sold for. So that's the power of that question. If there's nothing you can do, which chances are that's going to be the case, you say, no worries, is it all right if I stay in touch? And then what you're doing there is you're letting them know that you will stay in touch with them over the course of however long it takes, but then they're prepared for you to stay in touch. Week number 2 is our video week. We are sending them a video. We are putting a face to the name. We are reaffirming that we are their agent. We're doing so with video. So if you're using your phone, you can just send them a quick video text. If you're going over email, you can do something similar. You can use BombBomb. You can use the program useloom.com. Great free program that you can send videos to potential leads and clients. Have a little conversation with them over the video. Say it's been great getting to know them if you'd like. And if it's over email, I highly recommend attaching a seller's guide. So if you have a seller's guide, attach that just so it's a little bit more information for them. Moving along, week number 3. Week number 3 is always our social media week. This is the week where we either add them on social media, we add them on another social media platform. So if we're already Facebook friends with them, then we add them on LinkedIn, or we follow them on Instagram. Or if we already know them and they're on all of our platforms, we comment on one of their most recent posts. So week 3 is social media focused. You have to be strategic here. If you met them at, say, a networking event, chances are you might not be adding them as a friend on Facebook right off the bat. Maybe you are, maybe you're not, maybe LinkedIn's a little bit more appropriate. So take it client by client to determine what's the best strategy. But if you know them, and if they're already in your database and you've moved them onto a seller 8x8, then you want to be commenting on what they have put out as far as content goes. So comment on their Instagram photos, comment on their Facebook posts, those sort of things. Week number 4 is always our market report. So on the buyer's side, you'll see it's just a general market report. What's happening in your city, that sort of thing. The reason why we do this on week 4 is because there's been a month since we've started. So if you're doing a monthly market report for your database, you have one ready to go. At some point in time over the course of those last 4 weeks, you've probably sent that out. So you have the details, you have the information already ready to go. Now with a seller, you need to go one step further with this one. You need to include a community report. So what's happened in their direct community? Also, what are the recent sales over the last month? You need to include all of this. Lots of information, lots of market-focused connection on week number 4. That's what that's all about. So the power of that is the fact that you have gone over a full month, so you should have some market data for them. Also, if you talk to them about the market on week number 1, then week number 4, things have changed. So there's more information to send them. Week number 5, very, very simple. Call or text. Did you have any questions about the market reports? Did you have any questions about the sales? Very, very simple conversation. Low pressure. Ask them again, is there anything I can do for you? Did you have any specific questions? Did you want to know more about a certain property that's sold? This sort of thing. So you're just connecting over text or over phone. Moving on to week number 6. Week number 6 is the handwritten note. So you're doing a handwritten note plus an item of value. If they're selling or they're thinking of selling, chances are you'll know their address, but if not, you can always send this to their office. Ideally, you send it to their home address if possible. And chances are you probably know that if they have thought about selling and you know what community they're in. But no worries if not, you can still send this to their office. You're doing a quick handwritten note saying, it's been so great getting to know you over the last few weeks, and then you're putting in a coffee gift card. You're putting in a notepad. You're doing some inexpensive item of value that you can put directly into the card. So don't spend a lot of money on it. Just have something that has some level of value. I love coffee cards because they're simple, everyone can use them, and you don't have to be spending a ton of money on them. Week number 7. Week number 7 is our information week. So we're sending a news article. We're sending one of our recent blog posts. We're also sending seller closing cost guide. So this doesn't have to be complex. This can be a few simple things that could potentially cost them money when they're selling. That's it. That's all you're doing. So week 7 is information based. You can do a number of things. You can say, here's a recent article that was published by so-and-so. And then here is also your potential seller closing costs. So week 7 is always information focused. Reason being, week 6 was more entertainment focused. You're sending them a handwritten card, you're sending them a coffee card or a notepad, so you're giving them something that's a little bit more heartwarming. Week 7 is for the information people. You are hitting them with information, what is happening, what's happening in your community, what is happening in the market, and then closing costs. I love using that one for week number 7. Finally, you've made it. Week number 8. Same as on the buying side. We're simply calling, texting, emailing. I like to do it in a video form if we are sending a email, and you're just asking again that same question that we asked from the start. Is there anything I can do for you? If the answer is no, no worries, that's fine. From there, we move them on to the 33 Touch program. But now we've solidified ourselves as their real estate agent. That's the power behind a seller 8x8 or a buyer 8x8. Remember, you can download our buyer and seller guides, our buyer and seller 8x8 guides with our 33 Touch program in the description below. It will be linked up. You can download it right there. Let me know in the description below, do you use a seller 8x8? And if you're enjoying these videos, please consider subscribing. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you in the next lesson.